Hello all, welcome back to once again to another interesting story under the theme of Ajali Kamrak Mahasa story series by Mommyshravmusings. Today I'm going to talk about another interesting empire which has actually sowed the first known seeds of democracy in the ancient India. This empire is the first recorded empire kings who were elected in a democratic way in the ancient India. Interesting, isn't it, my dear friends? Come on, I'll take you to another beautiful northeastern state this time to introduce you to this new dynasty, which was not referred to or written about in the Indian history books. This is none other than Ahom Dynasty. People who have followed social media or who keep following social media would have heard about one of the most powerful army major generals, Lachit Borkapan, from this dynasty. So I was also interested, like you guys, and felt that if empire has such a powerful army major general, then what must be the capabilities of that particular those kings? So that research led me to interesting details which I wanted to share with you all today. The historians actually disagree about the point of origin of the original king who has started Ahom dynasty in Assam. Some people say that he has come from Thai. Some people say he's come down from the current Myanmar region. Some people say he's come down from China. But whatever may be the his origin, what is interesting here to note down is that he has come down to the current Assam through Arunachal Pradesh by following the path of river Brahmaputra. When he's entered into India and while he's coming down to Assam in search of a good capital, he was fighting with a lot of the tribal lords whom he was encountering in his route and trying to and was winning them and establishing his rule there. He came to India with his battalion of people, which contains 9,000 people, who has both army people, his council of ministers, and everybody. And that is none other King Sukapa, who is also known as the first famous architect of the Greater Assam. And in fact, Assamese Day, the current Assamese Day on December 2nd, is also celebrated on his birthday. Interesting, right? That is why most of the Assamese people still revere him and respect him a lot because the Ahom kings have not just ruled their state, not just the region, they had also ruled their hearts. Other king who has taken Ahom Empire to its zenith is King Rudrasingha. He also has introduced a lot of social welfare schemes. He started Indianizing the Assam and making more stronger ties with the Indian mainland. So now let us learn more about these Ahom kings, how they had become the rulers of people's hearts rather than the entire region. As I already mentioned, a home king started winning over a lot of tribal lords, right from Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Nagaland, and all these places, right? While they're winning tribal lords in the battles, they are also forging some strong relationships with the tribal lords through the marriage alliances. Though they're doing marriage alliances for the political stability, they never treated women as subjects only for pleasure, or women, and they never confined the freedom of the women to only women quarters of the royal forts. In fact, women were given equal rights in the administration as well. In their marriage ceremony itself, they used to make a promise to the women saying like they will guard them, not only the physical form, I'm saying they'll guard them both mentally and physically along with their offsprings for throughout their lifetime, and they'll also give them the freedom that is required for the woman to flourish. If the woman is interested in the political administration, she was also given a small part of land wherein she could do her rule that particular part independently. Amazing, no? At that point of time, I'm talking about the 12th century to 18th century, my dear friends, and that is the reason why their coins which they have issued during that time has both queen and king's names on two sides of the coin, because they should believe that woman and man are two sides of the same coin, and only both of them are given equal importance, then the family can run in unison. What a noble thought, I should say. And since And they started establishing the Ahom Empire. They had to fight a lot of battles with Burma people, with China people, with all the other native tribal laws as well. So that is the reason why they needed a strong army. At the same time, they believe that strong army alone will not be able to solve all the problems. So that is the reason why they had established, a very particular system to rule that particular entire Assam area. And there, the system in which they started ruling that Assam area is very interesting. Every king is not given the king post just because he's born to the King Sukapa's family. He'll be chosen by the people who has that capability to rule their empire as a king. In fact, there are instances in the Ahom period that there are certain sections of a period of time where there is no king for their empire because the royal family, the team which who selects the king felt that the royal has didn't have the capability to rule such a great empire. So they were ruling on behalf of the royal head. The Panchamantri, or known as the five ministers of the king, or five experts who should give him advice on all the different aspects of the kingdom, political empire, like agriculture, land, military, everything. And the judicial head is a person who takes care of all the disputes. Military head is the army major general who heads all the military affairs. And the rest of the royal employees are called park officials. Park officials are the people who serve the king, and they have to be transferred once in every 4 years. Some people work as the royals of gods in the royal force. Some people work on the military. Some people work on the land. Some people work on the irrigation side. And everybody should kind of keep working on different departments so that everybody will be aware of all these things. And the famous army major general or the military head from Ahom Dynasty is Lachit Borkapan, who is known as the fiercest, bravest army general which India had till date, from right from the ancient history. And that is the reason why the passing out, the topmost passing out candidate from NDA, the current National Defense Academy, will be handed out Lachit Medal. So that shows that Indian government also has recognized Lachit Bokapan's amazing bravery skills, isn't it? And you might be wondering why Ahoms have to fight so much because of the fertile land which Brahmaputra river is getting all the way from Tibet. The soil, that because of the fertile soil which Brahmaputra river is depositing all over the Assam and Arunachal Pradesh and all these areas, the Assam area land in itself is rich in biodiversity, rich in minerals. So that is the reason why all the people wanted to flock to Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, and uh, rule that so that they can get a lot of money. No wonder Ahom kings had to have a good military base to win over all those invasions from different rulers, isn't it, my dear friends? Apart from that, they were also engaging the people on the social side of it also. Do you know that they are the ones who had built the first known amphitheater in the entire Asia? This amphitheater is being used by the royal families as well as the general public to watch different games because they felt that only a fit body can have a fit mind. So they encourage all the people to participate in different sports like sword fighting, horse riding, bullock cart riding, because those are the games that were available at that point of time, isn't it? And this amphitheater was built during the reign of King Rudra Singhania. And they also built a famous Shiva temple in the current Shivashaga area in Assam, which was once upon a time their capital. They also were kind of encouraging Bihu dance, which is a very tribal kind of dance at that point of time in Assam. And they started celebrating Bihu dance in the royal fort, and they were encouraging it as well. So they are giving their these kings are active on the cultural front as well. They were engaging with people on the various cultural activities, and they're encouraging people to participate in various cultural activities in the religious festivals. They were celebrating along with the people. Though they had come down from other countries, they never practiced their culture here. They adopted themselves to the Indian culture, and they started practicing and celebrating Indian culture. That is the amazing part of these Ahom rulers. Not only that, they actually looked out for the welfare of the people. Not like our current day politicians who are given everything, who are giving everything for free. These people taught them how to fish. So they introduced the wetland rice irrigation system based on the terrace farming, and they started teaching the techniques and nuances about this wet-based rice farming, and they also established free trade markets near the foot of the hills, which will allow the tribals to get their forest produce and sell it to the people in the plains. And similar way, the people in the plains can sell their produce to the people who are coming from the hills. So that way, both the people from the hills as well as people from the plains can intermingle with each other, exchange their goods, and live happily. So, because of this market, there are a lot of other trades that are getting flourished, like weaving, carpentry, people who make different kinds of handicrafts. So, there was work for everybody. It's not that people were sitting lazily and enjoying life because kings are taking care of everything. My dear friends, at the same time, not only that, they are very good from the architectural standpoint of view also. They had built Talatalgar, which is a station for their army battalions. And interestingly, at that point of time, when they built this Talatalgar, they also built two tunnels from this building, from these kind of maze kind of buildings, which confuses the enemies, whoever tries to attack them and attack their army in the Talatalgar. And one tunnel goes to the royal fort nearby, so that in case if the king is attacked in the royal fort, he can come using that tunnel, he can come to the army base, or reverse way, if army people get the wind that king might be attacked at the royal fort, they might go from here to save the king. And the other one he goes and lands near the river basin, so that the army or the kings or whoever are the important people can escape from that area and attack from on the enemy from the opposite, from behind. Interesting planning, I would say. The recorded history says that there are 3 floors of rooms under the ground level. That shows that amazing architectural skills, isn't it, my dear friends? They also like believe that there is life after death, like just like how we Hindus believe. They also believe that there is life after death, and that is why they started building something like chardi or maidams, which is nothing but similar to that of the Egyptian pyramids, which we see in today's modern world. All the bodies of the royal members, be it be kings, princesses, or prince, everything will be buried under these hemispherical domes along with their positions, so that their life after death will also be as luxurious as possible. Now, you might be wondering if, and I'm saying that this we haven't read this Ahom history anywhere in our Indian history books or in our textbooks so long. How did I get this information? We it might be evident that we are kept out the important part of Ahom dynasty and Ahom rule from our history books, but the chroniclers who kept on visiting India right from 12th to 16th, 18th century had written and documented about how this empire was flourishing, how this empire, these kings are actually kings of the people's hearts, how they had adopted new innovative methods in governing their empire. Everything was documented in their chronicles by Chinese travelers, by Mughal chroniclers, and even by the Britishers who has written a book called A History of Assam by E.A. Guide. So that's all for today's story, my dear friends. Now I wonder why we haven't read about our home kings. Just because they are in the northeast doesn't mean that we shouldn't be knowing about them, right? These are the kings who have sown the first seeds of democracy. That shows. I mean, there are so many things that we can learn from them. Even for that matter, maybe they would have controlled the Brahmaputra floods, which happens every year during monsoon period, and a lot of people get displaced. Maybe there might be some lessons which we can learn from them. I hope at least now our Indian educators include some chapters about Ahom rules, Ahom kings, like just like Manikya kings from Manipur, Nagaland. There's so many barriers, so many lessons that we can learn from Northeast. I just wonder why we haven't learned all along these days. I hope At least now, government takes some decision and introduces us to the Northeast rich history and culture. Do let me know your thoughts about this. Thank you, my dear friends. Stay tuned for another interesting story tomorrow. Bye bye.